What's up, Shit here. Here is my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turns 10, 20, 30, and 40 this week. Alright, the films celebrating their 10th anniversary, we got some good ones here. Not the first film, but the second one, and that is Hotel Transylvania 2. This time around, the film takes place several years after the events of the first film. And of course, Mavis and Johnny have a young son named Dennis, whose lack of any vampire abilities here. And of course, Mavis and Johnny travel to Johnny's hometown in Santa Cruz, and Drac, of course, his friends should help make like his grandson into a vampire, much to Mavis' dismay and awe. I really quite enjoy Hotel Transylvania 2. It's a lot of fun. Definitely. It's I don't know. I still say it's probably better than the first film. I guess you say it's like the Shrek 2 of the Hotel Transylvania world. It's a really decent one there. Hopefully, we'll get another one like with Adam Sandler and them coming back, but who knows? All right. Also turning 10 is The Intern. The Intern, of course, stars Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, and it's of course a comedy drama directed and written by Nancy Meyers. Of course, with De Niro, Rene Russo, and it's pretty much about like this 70-year-old widower who becomes a senior intern at a fashion website and forms an unlikely friendship with the company's workaholic CEO. The movie is really charming. The chemistry between De Niro and Hathaway is really great. You also do got Adam Devine, Zach Perlman, Andrew Ronaldo, and Anders Holm. It is a really decent one that's a really decent and fun, charming love film there. And I think this is actually Nancy Meyers' last movie she did. I hope she does another film, but anyway, also turning 10, we got mostly smaller ones here. 99 Homes, starring Andrew Garfield, and you also got Micah Shannon and Laura Dern, set in Florida during the Great Recession. It follows a single father, Dennis Nash, played by Garfield, and his family as they are evicted from their home by a businessman, played by Shannon. The movie is great. I really think Andrew Garfield and Micah Shannon could have easily gotten Oscar nominations for this because they were really great in this. Laura Dern was great. The one who plays Andrew Garfield's son is terrific. This was like his breakout role here. It's a really amazing movie if you guys haven't seen that. Alright. Also turning 10, we got the Green Inferno. Oh boy, I remember seeing this one in theaters. Like, I think a couple of theaters, if I'm not mistaken, was actually handing out barf bags. I didn't need it because I can handle these type of films. Green Inferno, directed by Eli Roth. Starring his I think they're still married or something, but his then or still together wife, Lorenza Izzo. Of course, the film follows a young woman who joins an activist group that goes to like overseas trip, and they of course are trapped by cannibals tribes. This movie is gruesome. I'm talking about gruesome or out. Now Eli Roth had two movies that same year. He had this and he had Knock Knock in the same year. Both interesting ones. Obviously both very different here. You also do got Dara Sabara from Spy Kids was in this. I had a fun time with it. It was really creepy, very messed up throughout. Definitely reminded me of Cannibal Holocaust that came out like in the 80s and stuff. It's a really good one if you guys haven't seen this one. Anyway, also turning, I'm just gonna go through these one. Also turning 10 is it's a movie Stonewall. About the 1969 Stonewall riots, starring directed by Roland Emmerich, who gave us Independence Day, Jeremy Irvine, Johnny Bootcamp, Joey King, John Rhys Meyers, Caleb Landry Jones. It's a really good film. Really great performances here. Crazy how this is based on a true story. It really happened and stuff. It's a really remarkable film there. Probably the last good movie Roland Emmerich directed, to be honest. But anyway. Also turning 10 is Mississippi Grind, starring Ben Mendelsohn, Ryan Reynolds, from the directors of Captain Marvel. And it's of course we're on his down on his luck and facing financial hardship. Ryan Reynolds, you got these two guys who pretty much team up and attempt to change his luck around. It's an interesting poker movie that's well worth a watch. It was released by A24. Really good film there. We also turning 10 is Ashby, starring Mickey Rourke, Nat Wolff, Emma Roberts, Sarah Silverman. Where of course like this this team played by Wolf befriends this retired CIA assassin played by Mickey Rourke, who teaches them valuable life lessons. Not a bad little film there. Mickey Rourke and Nat Wolff's like on-screen chemistry was pretty cool. Really decent little film there. We also got some stuff turning 20 this week. We got Flightplan starring Jodie Foster, Sean Bean, Matt Bomer, where Jodie Foster plays Kyle Pratt, who's a widow American aircraft engineer living in Berlin, who flies to the U.S. With her daughter and her husband's body as she loses her daughter during a fight and must struggle here, and of course, or while proving sanity at the same time. It's a really, of course, it is a really interesting thriller. Jodie Foster's great. Uh, Written by Captain Phil's writer Billy Ray. Really decent little thriller there. We also got Road Bounce, starring the classic Nick Cannon Bow Wow film Road Bounce, where of course Bow Wow plays the leader of a roller skating crew in 1970 Chicago. It's a little bit more of a guilty pleasure. It's pretty fun here. Nick Cannon, Megan Good's in this, Chai McBride, Janae Smollett, Mike Epps is in this, Kalita Smith. I mean, obviously they were trying to make Bow Wow into a movie star, and he doesn't really do acting as much as he used to do. But I've always liked Bow Wow, and he was pretty cool in this one. Also turning 20 is Corpse Bride. Tim Burton had two movies that same year. He had this and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Corpse Bride, of course, is where like this nervous groom Victor accidentally marries Corpse Bride Emily and descends with her into the underworld. You got Johnny Depp, Helen Bonham Carter, Emily Watson. It is a really fun little animation one. Really brought back Tim Burton's animation style that he was known for with Nightmare Before Christmas. And yeah, Corpse Bride is a pretty cool one. Also turning 20 is the terrible movie Dirty Love with Jenny McCartney, Carmen Electra, the guy who played Fitch in American Pie. Where, like, of course, after Rebecca, who, after discovering her boyfriend's infidelity, embarks on a chaotic journey in search for an ideal match. This, of course, actually won a couple of Razzies, like Worst Picture and stuff. One of the worst comedies of all time. It's horrible. Carmen Electra, Jenny McCartney, not so good. We also got Oliver Twist, which is, of course, based on the classic Charles Dickens tale with Ben Kingsley. That's not so bad. Also turning 20 is A History of Violence, directed by David Cronenberg. And stars Viggo Mortensen, William Hurt, Ed Harris, Maria Bello, where a diner owner becomes a local hero after he follows the attempt robbery here. And he must have to face his past enemies to protect his family. This movie is great. Viggo Mortensen is great. I think he got a couple of Oscar nominations. Ed Harris is great. William Hurt. It is a really interesting one, based on a DC graphic novel. It is a really good one. That's well worth watching there. All right. Films turning 30 this week. What's in the box? Turning 30 is Seven, directed by Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow. Starring Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey. Directed by David Fincher. Of course, obviously, crazy twist towards the end. Of course, it's set in like an unnamed, crime-ridden city where Seven's narrative follows disenchanted, nearly retired detective William Somerset, who has now transferred a partner played by Pitt as they try to stop a serial killer who is committing a series of murders based on the Seven Deadly Sins. It is one of the best like David Fincher movies there is. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman's great in this. It is, of course, I believe Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow were married or dating at the time, so there's that. Seven is definitely a really good one. I believe this was actually like David Fincher's follow-up to Alien 3, so talk about a great follow-up right there. Alright, also turning 30 is Canadian Bacon, which, if I'm not mistaken, is sadly the last movie that starred the late, great John Candy. This was directed by Michael Moore, who's obviously best known for documentaries. And it tells the story of a struggling president who is pursued by his confidants to fight with Canada here when a local sheriff and his friends get involved. Canadian Bacon is a really fun one. Alan Alda, John Candy, some great cast members. It is really hilarious. I mean, definitely, you know, I will. I think they could definitely remake this today, by the way, especially with everything going on presidential nowadays. This is definitely a movie I think you could really remake today. But so if you guys never seen Canadian Bacon, again, I think it was actually either the last movie or one of the last movies starring John Candy. R.I.P. John Candy. That documentary, by the way, looks great too. But if you guys never seen Canadian Bacon, it's not much as a classic as, let's say, Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, something like that. But it is a pretty fun one, to say the least. Alright, Also Turning Dirty is one of my favorite bad movies of all time, Showgirls. Showgirls, starring Elizabeth Berkley, who of course you might know from Saved by the Bell fame, as Nomi, who arrives in Vegas with only a suitcase and dreams of becoming a top showgirl. And yeah, this movie is this was actually the first ever NC-17 movie I've ever seen in general. Showgirls is not a great movie, but it is more of a guilty pleasure of mine. It is really insane, to say the least. Kyle MacLachlan's in this, Gina Rivera, Gina Gershon. It's a really fun one. It is entertaining throughout. I really had a fun time with Showgirls. Again, it's not a great movie, but it's more of a guilty pleasure of mine. And yeah, anyway. Also turning 30, we got actually two Renee Zellweger films turning 30. First up, we got Empire Records, which of course has Renee Zellweger, Anthony LaPaglia, Maxwell Caulfield, Debbie Mazur. Early films like Early Rose by Renee Zellweger and Liv Tyler. It's a really good one. You know, it follows a group of record store employees over the course of one expectable day. And it's a real, it actually didn't really do great in the box office, but it became a cult classic throughout. Really made stars out of Liv Tyler, out of Renee Zellweger, and it's a really good, decent one there. Also Turning Dirty is another Renee Zellweger film, and that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. One of the film, like Early Rose with Matthew McConaughey, and it follows four teenagers who encounter a Leatherface and a murderous family in the backwoods. It features cameos by the original Texas Chainsaw actors like Marilyn Burns. And I mean, it's not a great film, but it is more of a guilty pleasure of mine. It is pretty fun here. Crazy, messed up. Matthew McConaughey is great in this. I mean, it's a really good one. Again, it is one of Matthew McConaughey's earliest films he did. One of Renee Zellweger's earliest. It's a really fun one, to say the least. Alright, now films turning 40 this week. Not really anything to really go by, but first up we got Codename Emerald, starring the aforementioned Ed Harris, Max von Sydow, Eric Stoltz, Patrick Stewart. It takes place in Emerald during World War II, a few months prior to the Normandy landing here. And it's actually not really from Melville, to be honest. So, I probably only see this just once, and that's really it. But Ed Harris is always great, so. Also turning 40 is the Chuck Norris classic, Invasion USA. You know, it involves around the stars fighting off a force of Soviet-Cuban-led guerrillas here. Invasion USA is not a great film, but it is a lot of fun. I mean, 80s Chuck Norris is always great. It's a really cool one if you guys haven't seen that. Also turning 40 is Marie, which is, of course, a biopic starring Sissy Spacek as Marie Regenhati, a former head of the Tennessee Board of Pardons and Paroles here, who was, of course, removed from office in 1977. You also do got people like Jeff Daniels, Morgan Freeman, Fred Thompson. It's a really interesting one. Sissy Spacek was really good in this. I mean, some good performances there, so well worth a watch there. But that's pretty much it. Let me leave it to you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is going, of course, to Hotel Transylvania 2. The 20-year one is going to A History of Violence. The 30-year one is 7. And the 40-year one is going to Invasion USA. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Tim.